Yeah, so this is another one YouTube gets asked a lot, and I think content represents a huge opportunity, but also a really big challenge for brands. It's not easy to operate. How do I make content? Your organization is probably not necessarily structured for this new world. Your agency structure might be a little bit different too. So one of the first things I like to say is you don't have to do it all yourself. So we talk about a framework called the 3 C's: create, curate, and collaborate, meaning you can create some content, you can curate your users' content, and you can also collaborate with partners like a Vice or an endemic YouTube star like a Laura Vitale to bring that idea to life and not necessarily have to do all the heavy lifting yourself. So that's really how you make it. But in terms of how to program and really set yourself up for success, it's really important to not think about one-off viral hits. You can't just make a single video anymore. You really have to think more like a publisher and be always on and be consistent when it comes to the content you make. So for that, I have another 3-letter framework for you. It's the 3 H's, which are hero, hub, and hygiene. Hero are your go big moments. These are big tentpoles. You know, for a brand like Budweiser, this is going to be your Super Bowl spot, your big sponsorships like the World Cup. And you know, those are your opportunities to bring in a new audience, to push out a new brand positioning, and obviously have a lot of media support. You also have hygiene content, which is really meant to be push content to, you also have your hygiene content, which is pull content to consumers that are asking questions. So things like, how is Budweiser brewed? Or what's the difference between Bud and Bud Light from a calorie standpoint? Really basic questions that consumers are probably asking right now. You need to make sure you're there from a content perspective, and that's all the time. That's not gonna be a Super Bowl moment. That could be March, it could be February, but you gotta be there. And what's really different, I think, for marketers now is the hub, which is a push format, and that's really aligning passion with a brand story. So if you look at the work Budweiser's doing with Vice around Made in America, where you're aligning your brand to music, that's a really clear sweet spot between music and the Bud story around entrepreneurship and artistry. And you want to make sure that you have content series that are a little bit longer than you might have used to make and a lot more episodic in nature. So if you remember 2 things, remember the 3 C's: create, curate, collaborate, and the 3 H's, which are hero, hub, and hygiene.